The Steam Next Fest is finally upon us once again. This is the June 2024 edition of the Next Fest, and here we're gonna talk about demos. For those that may not know what the Next Fest is, the Next Fest is a celebration of upcoming games. Many games from many different types of developers, featuring many different types of games altogether. What makes the Steam Next Fest so special is that every single game that's featured has a demo. The Steam Next Fest makes demos vogue again. Every game has a demo that you can try out, and ultimately you can decide if you want to buy them or not. Lots of games look great, trailers look great, but trying out a demo, trying out the game for yourself, a small vertical slice of a game, it can make or break the experience. Many excellent indie titles had demos featured in the Next Fest before they officially released, and I own many of those games now. Crazy, isn't it, huh? Anyways, I implore you to explore the Next Fest and find whatever games suit you the best. Today, though, we're going to showcase some of those demos that I've tried out. By default, these games will be recorded from a Steam Deck, unless otherwise specified. I'll comment on whether or not these games run well on Steam Deck or not. I will admit, there are hundreds, and I really do mean hundreds of demos to try out. It's literally impossible for me to cover every single demo featured on the Next Fest by myself. But if there's any demos that you enjoyed, you should leave a comment down below. But before that, if you like this video or any other video I make, please like, subscribe, and share with all of your friends. Spreading the good gospel of high-tech low life lets the YouTube algorithm know that I'm doing well. The first game we're going to start with is a game called Fleapit. Part Crypt of the Necrodancer, part dating sim. Much like Crypt of the Necrodancer, it's a rhythm-based dungeon crawler. Rhythm games live and die by their soundtrack, and it's got a pretty decent soundtrack currently, but I'd have to wait to see the rest of the game. The game itself is pretty fun. It's more of a modern take on the roguelike genre, as opposed to, say, Crypt of the Necrodancer's more traditional roguelike. You even have a toggle for both the safe for work and the quote-unquote non-safe for work designs, so take that as you will. Unlike, say, Crypt of the Necrodancer, it's not quite optimized for DDR dance pad gameplay, but I mean, you could play it with a DDR dance pad, and I've even got myself a crazy DJ controller, so I'll be giving that a try. And yes, this game runs quite well on Steam Deck. This next game is Dungeons and Degenerate Gamblers. It's a roguelike blackjack deck builder. Are you familiar with the rules of blackjack? Well, it's fairly similar. The only difference here being that you have multiple different ways to power your deck up. You have cards that count as negative numbers. You have cards that have special abilities. Cards that can even change your bust threshold. Think of it as Balatro, but blackjack. If you lose a blackjack hand, you take damage equal to the difference in value. And if you bust, then you take the full damage. Balatro has ushered a new era of casino roguelikes, and honestly, blackjack is the only game I'll play in the casinos, mostly cause it's the only casino game I'm good at. But anyways, I digress. This game runs quite well on Steam Deck. Kill Knight is a visceral, top-down twin-stick shooter. It's incredibly fast-paced and it feels incredibly smooth to play. You're in total control, but you have to be. This game is by no means easy, but it is easy to pick up and play. Despite being just a demo, there's already a leaderboard available, so if you want to prove that you're the best, then just do so. Anyways, this game runs great on Steam Deck. I've had no issues with it whatsoever, and with a game this fast-paced, you want all the frames you can get. Next is a game called Bloodless. You engage in high-stakes, non-lethal combat. You alone with your bare hands can disarm and defeat multiple opponents. At the very least, it's a very interesting concept. As of right now, you only have your dash counter, but I've seen in the trailer that there are more techniques to learn. The game also looks quite good despite the limited number of colors you have. And yes, as expected, this game runs quite well on Steam Deck. Next up is a game called Mirage Feathers. It's a bullet hell rail shooter, and man, it is quite intense. Even this demo is quite intense. The game feels quite good in the hands, and there's even a couple of different options for CRT filters and whatnot. I suppose the only issue with this game is that it may be too fast for some people, and as such, it may not be suitable for people that can't keep up with the speed. But honestly, there's a demo, so give it a shot. And yes, this game does run quite well on Steam Deck. Next up is Overrider. This is a beat 'em up where you can jack an enemy's body and use their moveset. The game itself is actually pretty fun. It's a beat 'em up with a pretty varied juggling system. I haven't really explored it too much, but what I do know is that there are functional infinites. What do I mean by this exactly? Well, I'll show you. I do think this game has a lot of potential, and it is pretty fun. This one may be one to watch out for. And yes, as usual, this game does work quite well on Steam Deck. Next up is a game called Tactical Breach Wizard. words. It's essentially a top-down strategy game. Every character has a unique role and unique skills to fit that role. Your job is to complete your objective as efficiently as possible. In addition to just planning out your attack and defeating your opponents, you can also use the environment to dispatch your opponents, such as defenestrating them through a window. It's always interesting to see a modern-day setting infused with magic and fantasy elements. You get interesting combinations like the Druid Mafia or the Navy Seers. This demo is definitely worth a shot, and yes, it works on Steam Deck. This is G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra. It's a beat-em-up based on the G.I. Joe series. It's got all of your favorite G.I. Joe characters, like Snake Eyes and no one else. So if you're gonna play with a bunch of friends, be sure to pick Snake Eyes first. Anyways, the game is okay, I guess. The demo's alright. I guess the only issue I have with the demo is there isn't too much to the combat. In my opinion, not a whole lot of depth to the combat, but that's just me. It is a pretty cool game for the G.I. Joe fans though, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't really grow up with G.I. Joe, so it's whatever. But yes, the demo does work on Steam Deck. This next game's called Fields of Mistria. It's a quaint little farm life simulator. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you, typically these sorts of games aren't my jam, and I think I've also said that cozy games kinda suck. So I figured I'd give this one a shot, and it's pretty decent all things considered. I will admit, personally speaking, I'm still a little on the fence about this game, but I mean, at the very least, it's a fairly quality made game. I'm still trying to decide if this is for me or not, but I mean, I had a decent time with it. The demo, I mean. I haven't played the full game yet. The game's supposed to go in early access when it releases, and I don't know when that's supposed to be. Anyways, if you want to play this on the Steam Deck, then yeah, play it on the Steam Deck. It's probably the best way to play the game. Also, am I crazy, or does Celine kind of look like Sailor Venus? I'm not crazy, am I? And of course, the last game on this list is a game called Keylocker. It's a cyberpunk JRPG, emphasis on the punk. Unlike many other JRPGs with active battle mechanics, the game, or at the very least this demo, demands you master the mechanics, mastering both attack timings and block timings as well. Anything less than perfect and you will be annihilated. It's an interesting concept for a JRPG to put so much emphasis on action mechanics, but hey, I'm down for it. And yes, this game runs quite well on Steam Deck. All of these demos were featured as part of the Next Fest, but some of these demos were actually released before the Next Fest. I'll be testing out more demos and also probably making another video about some demos. But in the interest of time, I will be cutting the video off here. Got any demos that I should try out? Leave a comment down below and let me know. Do note that some games have been featured as part of multiple Next Fest, and as such I may have covered one or two in a prior video. So why don't you check out those prior videos? I have a Next Fest playlist. If you like this video, please press the like button and check out our other videos. And if you like those other videos as well, be sure to press the subscribe button and share the good gospel of high-tech lowlife with your friends. Furthermore, we have a community Discord for enlightened individuals such as you. And if you wish to further support high-tech lowlife, be sure to check out our Patreon page. Links in the description.